Mermaids is a charming comedy about the differences between men and women and between Jews and Catholics, and as it turns out, there's almost no difference at all except for society's expectations. The film covers an eventful holiday season for the Flax family, who moved to a little Massachusetts town because of their matriarch Rachel always running away from a man. Her elder daughter is frustrated by having one more disturbance in her adolescent years, but is delighted that their new home is next to a convent. Charlotte desperately wants to be a nun despite being Jewish, and the convent's handyman is totally hot. I dream of him and me, and how it's gonna be. The trio of actresses who are the backbone of this film include Cher, who gives a knockout performance, equal to or maybe better than Moonstruck. Winona Ryder, in her best form as a beautiful neurotic teen, a role she ruled for several years, and Christina Ricci, who is possibly the best child actor of all time. The script gives Ricci a lot to do, and she nails all of it better than would be expected, even though she only has maybe 10 lines in the whole film. But she has many of the best scenes. The handyman and handsome bus driver, Joe, is played by Michael Schofling, the guy from 16 Candles. In addition to Joe, who's treated by the town's women as a gorgeous piece of meat and is never really understood, there's Lou. Lou's the only Jewish guy in town. Rachel is uninterested in her own heritage, but she bonds with Lou instantly. She's way out of his league, a literal head-turner, but he meshes instantly with her family, and he's just a real mensch.
Let's show her.
Yeah. You want to do it?
Yeah.
That is so neat.
Bob Hoskins has never turned in a bad performance, and he shines here as the one person in the movie who has his business together. Despite Rachel's toxic behavior, Lou's respect for her and her girls remains steadfast. He manages to bring joy into Rachel's dysfunctional household.
Just one look, and I felt so hot.
Mermaid's title invokes Cher's costume for a party towards the end of the film. The literal mermaid, obviously, is little Kate, who's a champion swimmer. But there's a hint that Rachel and Charlotte are both sirens leading men to their doom. These women are all on the edge of a nervous breakdown, in the words of Almodovar. But in the movie's defense, so are all the men. The movie is about vulnerability, for fabulous women, for pretty and smart girls, for lonely businessmen, for the town hunk. But it's also about knowing when to cut your losses and move on. Rachel cuts her losses way too often. Charlotte has to learn to release control, and that's what makes them the protagonists, their fragility. Lou and little Kate and Joe kind of know where they stand, and while they're by far the most entertaining parts of the film, that won't move the plot along. But guilt will. Great comedy is always built on misery. As Mel Brooks once said, tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when you fall into an open sewer and die. A tenet which I'll dispute next time as I discuss As You Like It by Shakespeare. But here, the comedy is certainly built on everyone's guilt and the feeling of being an outsider.
Wish I had trouble conceiving. I can get pregnant if I hang my clothes next to a man's suit.
Oh, Lord, no. Anything but that.
Rachel is fleeing from guilt. Charlotte is running into guilt's welcoming arms. Charlotte, despite her desire for chastity, brazenly forces Joe to go on a date with her. Charlotte's intense monologues of Catholic/Jewish guilt fills the movie with a lot of its hilarious touches.
Oh, I'm gonna burn in hell for sure. Here he is talking about his poor dead mother, and I can't stop wishing his hands were unbuttoning my dress.
Joe is trying to be a gentleman, but is abused by a town full of repression. But Lou, despite being a short, overweight shoe salesman who admits his life is defined by being a small-town guy, he throws guilt off his back and spreads joy. The movie takes place in 1963, in the era of Women's Day magazine and Family Circle. Cooking hearty meals was central to your family being normal, and the Flax family is anything but normal. Lou enthusiastically brings bagels to Rachel's when they begin dating, and he learns that she can honestly destroy any food by turning it into toothpicked hors d'oeuvres, presumably a relic from some past job as a caterer. Lou himself has bizarre cooking habits, but his are shadows of the past. There's a running gag about him eating nothing nothing but frozen foods left behind by his runaway wife.
Yes, I got a great pot roast in the freezer.
But the film ends with the three women celebrating over making dinner, dancing to "If You Want to Be Happy, Marry a Woman Who's Uglier Than You," which of course is ironic given that Cher and Winona Ryder were both stunning. Food recurs constantly in the film as a symbol of family. Breaking bread together is crucial to unity, which is why Lou orchestrating a traditional meal sets Rachel on edge. She can't handle unity. The movie encompasses all the wonder and misery of both being Catholic and Jewish, male and female.
When you expect the worst from people, they usually deliver.
And it hands back the simple fact that family love, genetic or Brady Bunch style, is what binds us together.
Ooh, we're gonna play my favorite game. Who's the worst mother in the world? Ooh, now don't tell me, let me guess. Who could it be? Could it be me? All right, you know what, I'll make you a deal. You stop being a little bitch for, let's say, oh, I don't know, an hour or two, and I won't knock the religion of your choice for a week.
Deal.